Schedule a Zoom with me at GCExperts.com/Zoom.
Hey, how's it going, sir?
Happy New Year, Wayland.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yeah, you having a good day so far?
Man, I would say it couldn't get much more perfect. It's like 70 degrees outside here in Austin.
Oh, right on. It's opposite here. I'm in South Florida, and believe it or not, it was like down in the high 30s or low 40s last night. This is kind of odd for us here. So I got a couple of questions, if you don't mind, just to clarify, so I understand what I'm getting myself into.
I got all the time in the world, and I got all the answers, and I was particularly intrigued by your the text message you sent to my marketing team because it said, I have a trick question.
Yes, I do. I have a trick question. All right, so put you on speakerphone real quick. So to give you a brief summary of me, I've worked my whole life in construction. When I was a kid, I worked at the truss plant. And when I was like 15 till I was about 18. And then I did epoxy floors for a guy, aluminum. I always had two jobs. So then I started doing remodeling, working with John D. Francisco. I know you said that I don't have to be a contractor. So I owned half the business, but it was his license. And then I did, after I slowly stopped retiring with him, I started working with Dan. I'm a signer on his license, but I don't own part of his business. I can pull permits. I decided to go to Oklahoma to get out of the crazy South Florida, because South Florida was small when I was a kid. Now it's not. Went to Oklahoma, cannabis grower. Worst financial decision I made, because COVID happened and messed me up. So I come back home, still trying to pay off some of the credit cards, and I work every day. I'm a good hustler. I'm very well working with other people. I don't have an issue. My big concern is on the liability. Like if I say, okay, I get a $100,000 contract, I find somebody to do it for $60,000. I'm assuming he's the guy that pulls the permits, and I'd like to know how long it usually takes for him to pull the permits so I don't get my ass in a sling. And how liable am I held if he don't finish his part of the bargain? What happens to me?
Okay. Is it my turn to talk?
Yes, sir. Your turn to talk.
Okay. We're going to start by playing a little game, but I need to set a couple of ground rules. One is do you know what a SAM registration is?
Do not. No, sir.
Okay. If I told you to go down and register something, that's just paperwork, right? Like you don't have to be anything special to register anything, right?
Most cases, yes, sir. Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A SAM registration, SAM stands for System for Award Management. That is sam.gov. It's the federal government's website. You have to be registered with the government in order to receive a federal contract. Make sense so far?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I watched the video. I understand that 100%.
Okay, so you understand you do not need a license of any kind.
Yes, sir. Yep. That's the gray area that you ride, and that's the big gray area that I ride. I understand. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as far as permits go, in most cases, there won't be any permits required on a federal contract because federal contracts are eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going onto a federal contract. Okay. So whether you're on a federal base in Florida or a federal base in Oklahoma, you're on federal property, not state.
All right.
Okay. There's no such thing as state police on a federal property.
Okay.
Now, who gets the permit? If there is a permit required, you would just have the local subcontractor go get that permit because he's in the business of pulling permits anyway. What would be an example of an exception to the rule where there's typically not permits? Well, sometimes the federal government doesn't own the property. As an example, the GSA, Government Services Administration, General Services Administration. Now, as soon as I said that, I thought, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, the GSA, sometimes they rent office spaces from private companies. But they want to go in there and they want to modify the office space to make sense for their crew, their people, okay? And so they hire a local contractor or a federal contractor, but somebody has to go pull a permit because it's not their building and it's got to comply with local. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I completely understand. Yeah.
So there are exceptions to that. But, and then if you did have to pull a permit on the federal side, it would be from Public Works. In other words, as the Navy has Public Works, which is their maintenance division for just general maintenance on the site. And sometimes you might have to pull a dig permit from Public Works, but that's not a permit in the traditional sense that you would get one from the city or from the county. Okay. So I wouldn't worry about permitting and who's responsible for that. Now let's take the other part of the question that you had, which was hey, I got one, $100,000. The guy's going to do it all for $60,000. Great. Then all of a sudden there's a problem. Okay. In that scenario, I teach this, of course, in the workshop, but since you asked a question, I'm going to give you a direct answer. The way I handle that is, hey, Wayland, it's time to put your big boy pants on. You and I have a contract together to get this amount of work done over here at the National Park Service. Let's just say, take that 200 square foot tiny house as an example. And it looks like you guys are about 5 to 10 days behind, as best as I can tell, and things aren't coming together the way that maybe even you and I had hoped. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to allow you to delay or put in work that's not compliant with the contract requirements. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hire a crew to supplement your crew. I'll probably give you 3 or 4 days to get things back on track. But if it's not back on track in 3 or 4 days, I'm going to supplement your crew. Whatever those costs are for that supplementation, I'm going to back charge your contract. So if you and I are agreed to $60,000, Wayland, and I ended up spending $5,000 or $10,000 getting you back on track and compliant, I'm just going to deduct that from the 60, and you're going to get 50, and the other guys are going to get the rest of the money. But I'm not going to let you slow things down or make things compliant. If the supplemental crew doesn't quite get it done, I might just terminate your contract for default, take all the funds, go hire another contractor to get all this work done. And then, by the way, if that ends up costing me more than $60,000, I'm going to be coming after you for that, Wayland. So I'm just telling you, it makes more sense that you take the next 3 or 4 days and you just get everything back in compliance and back on schedule.
Got it. So when I'll stick one step further, worst case. I'm the kind of guy, like the jobs that I do, I'm there, I'm with everybody. Sometimes I have 1 or 2 helpers, sometimes I have 11 or 12 helpers. But in my head, to cover my ass, I don't take on jobs, because usually I work in the residential. A couple times I've worked commercial, but mostly residential. I don't get out of the scope of the realm of something that I cannot do with my own personal hand and make it just as good or better than the people that I work with. Like setting tile, finishing drywall, painting, whatever.
And Wayland, I have no problem with that, but you sound young to me, okay?
I'll be 50 in February.
50 in February, okay.
Yes, sir.
That's hard for me to imagine that at 50 years old, you're still of the mindset that if it's going to be done right, it's got to be done by me, because you're going to be limiting the rest of your life how much you can accomplish, as opposed to converting all that education in all the different trades that you've lived over the last 30 years in this business, and being able to apply it to other people doing the work instead of you. In other words, if I called you up, Wayland, and said, hey, Wayland, my name's Sean, I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations, and I'm calling you today about this 200 square foot tiny house. Okay, what I'm gathering in this phone call is that, Wayland, that's right up your alley. You can go take care of that. Okay, so you give me a price of 60. I turned it in for 100. Wayland's going to go take care of the whole thing. And now my next phone call is on to the other 200 square foot tiny house somewhere else with Joe. I can be way more effective and make a lot more money just using a phone, a computer, and my brain.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. That's why That's why I watched your video, and I'm like, because I know, I say it, and even when I go work at people's houses, they're like, they find it hard to believe that I've been in construction my whole life because I'm pretty quick. I'm not stupid. I just, my dad, honestly, my dad went to prison when I was 12 years old. I didn't get to finish school. I got, I think 10th grade, I went like 3 weeks or 4 weeks in the 10th grade. I had to start working young, and that's all I did. I worked. I had kids, did the right thing. I've never smoked cigarettes, never done coke, never smoked weed. I very rarely drink. Honestly, I like hustling and making money, but I've never been shown anything. So that's why it intrigued me, because I know I can sell my ass off. And I know, like you say, I can get on the phone and make phone calls and put the pieces together. Well, I guess sometimes I have a small lack in communication. What I was trying to get at by saying that I only did things that I could cover, make sure that I could finish it to cover my ass. Like, so if I'm going to get somebody to do something, I understand, say it's painting, and I understand he's telling me $30,000, and I got the contract, say, for $50,000. In my mind, I understand that his bid for $30,000 is feasible, and I could actually find a plan B to back up him in case he failed. Like you said, find a supplemental contractor. And that's in the scope of the stuff that I know. I'm sure that's probably how I would start off, and then get a little advantageous to do things that I don't know anything about. Basically, I agree with what you're saying. Yes, sir. I would be more better on a phone. I would have more growth on the phone than I would actually do in the work. So I do understand that 100%.
Yeah, well, if that's the route you want to go, I mean, look, you're in some ways you're overqualified. I think you kind of figured that out. You're overqualified for
Yes,
my
sir.
stuff.
Yes. Yep. So you on your course, based on the video, I'm guessing it's the guy said 5,700 or whatever. In your training, this gives me.
Dude, I can't believe you called me.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
Well, I was actually on the other line, so of course I'd call you. I wanted to take your call, but I was like, man, I really...
You probably don't remember me at all.
I know exactly who you are, Philip.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. How's your dad?
In fact, I just saw him yesterday. He's in good shape.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear. Do you ever hear from Aaron anymore?
On occasion.
I didn't know if he was still in the business or not.
On occasion.
I got you. Well, the reason I called you is I want to look at doing this again. I did a couple of contracts and did well with them, and then my regular business took over again. And I don't really know where to start. I know it sounds stupid, but that's kind of where I am. My business is doing well. My son is running my business, and I'm sitting here looking at this video of you and Herbert Barrier and thinking, now, where did I miss something?
Well, I tell you, probably where you... I'm not sure you want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
When Bud Barrier started with me, his credit score was 357.
Right.
Okay? I mean, that's pretty much about as bottom of the barrel as you can get.
Right.
And he named his company 358 because he didn't like the connotation of a 357 Magnum being associated with the name of his company.
I get that. And I can read between the lines.
Yeah. Hold on just 1 second. Hold on, Wayland.
Yes, sir.
Well, how do I merge these calls? Are you there, Philip? I'll call you back, Wayland. Hello? Are you there, Philip?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then you called me. Now, look, he had a huge motivation to be successful in federal construction because he was in the hole financially. Okay?
Right.
What I've heard from you is I don't have a huge motivation to be successful in the federal market because my business is going fine. In fact, my son's running my business. And yeah, I made some money in the federal contracts, but then my main business picked up. Like, your motivations are completely different.
Oh, that's true. That sounds exactly true. Last time I talked to Aaron was about a year ago, and he had done very well, and so my business is still. Right now, my business is still hovering about 1 point. I built a lifestyle business. That's what I built, and that's what I've had for 30 years. But I like the idea of doing the federal contracts. I have 10 plumbers that work for me now, and I'm not a plumber. So maybe that's where I'm missing it.
I mean, it could be. I can tell you this: the people that are the most successful in my program are the people that call me 3 times a week. Every time they get stuck or unmotivated or whatever, they just pick up the phone and call me, and we just talk for a few minutes. And it doesn't take me very long to pinpoint where a problem is. Just as an example, you've got all the things happening in your life. You see this video of Bud Berry and you go, shit, what am I doing different than him? And I'm the guy that can pinpoint in 2 seconds what the problem, but I'm not a coddler. I'm not the kind of guy that says, oh, it's okay, Philip, you'll get the next one. I'm the guy that says, dude, you got to do the work.
Well, if I never told you this, I don't think, but when I had the company and I went through the program and everything, hell, I hired a U.S. senator, a state senator, to come to work for me and do this. I don't know if I ever told you that or not.
I never heard that before, but if I had heard that, I would have probably responded, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah. He needed a job, and he was in office, and I thought,
The problem with hiring people to, quote, do this for you is where's the motivation? Anybody who's just got a job just has a job, okay? Right. They're never going to have the same motivation aligned with you.
Because I'm an owner, I'm a doer.
It's pretty much why my entire career I never hired anybody.
I just remember you sitting down there and saying to me, I'm sitting down here in Florida on this boat all the time, and I'm writing these bids out, and once in a while I get a call, and you got a call, and you said, can I call you back in 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, that was the only time I ever really worked, because that magic time zone is where the money is made.
Okay. So here's a 62-year-old man saying, walk me through where to go right now. Walk me through how to get started again. Okay,
number one, we need to find out if your SAM registration is still active. Do you know, or do we need to find out?
Probably need to find out. They'll have to find out.
Okay, so that would be number one. Number two would be join the membership program. Number three would be watch the workshop again, because it'll mean something different to you this time than it ever has before. And then number four, I've developed some new training videos that are post-workshop that you've probably never seen before. And you need to spend about 2 hours going through that. And then number five is pepper me with any question you want, but let's get some damn bids in.
Sounds like a plan to me. I like it. I'm looking at, okay, first thing I need to do is check Sam.
Well, I'll just get you in touch with Elda. She charges a little bit of a fee to do a renewal or something, but I'll get you in touch with her. You can get your SAM registration figured out. Number 2 is the membership program. Number 3 is go back through the workshop, watch it again. And number 4, go through the training stuff on the membership website, the new training videos I put out. And then number 5 is turn in a bunch of bids and pepper me with questions. And just be relentless. I mean, I'm telling you, I've got some people in my program that'll call me several times a day, and I finally figured it out. Wayland, I just brought you on with Philip. Philip's been one of my clients over the years, and we're going over some things. If you want to ask a client of mine what the value of the workshop is, this is your opportunity.
Okay, sure. I mean, the value, I'm sure that I don't understand the true value, how easy it is based on what you guys do, but I do understand it holds a greater value than currently what I do working on people's homes. Currently, I got a guy that's not paying me for attention simply because he don't have the money, but he signed the contract and told me to do it, and I did nothing wrong. I'm over in taken advantage of. So
I can answer that for you. So, Wayland, I can answer that one for you just from the business you're in and I'm in, right? So, what I would do is every 48 hours, I would email and text and call this man who owes you money, and I send a text that says this. I'm just going to say, Sean, since we're on the phone with him, I'm going to say, hey, Sean, following up with you, we still need to get paid. What is your intentions? We get paid in 30 days. And then I'll say, Philip, and I'll usually put a smiley face. And what happens is that when you do that, it takes about 30 days to collect your money, and it has about 15 contacts. There's usually about 15 contacts to get there. That's how you get your money back in. At the end of that, there's a different plan, right? And that's what I'll tell them. Hey, we're hitting that 30-day mark, and everything changes in 30 days. And that's the message I'll send them. That's what I would do, and I have people right now that, I run through about 50,000, now 40,000 a week.
Phew, a lot more than me.
So, and my reason for calling Sean was basically I went through his course 7 years ago. I had success in federal contracting, some, but I really enjoyed doing it. And I'm watching the video and thinking, why my business is my son is running my business now, so why am I not doing this? And so I called Sean and I said, hey, I'm an idiot, I'm a fool, so tell me what to do. And I'm in Kentucky, by the way.
I'm in South Florida, so
I understand.
But I do believe that it's worth it. I'm just trying to get my head around the scope of any type of liability, so I don't get my ass in a sling that I cannot get out of.
You're not going to be in the sling if you're doing that. If you have a good contract, I have a superb contract. I've been taken to court for it, and I won.
Right on. Is that something that you teach, Sean? How to get a good contract? How to write a correct contract?
Teach it. No, I do not teach it, but I'll be glad to see.
No, he's asking me Philip. He's asking me if I teach that, and I was just over here grinning and laughing because I'm thinking that's all I teach.
Okay. Well, I've only watched videos, and I understand that you're trying to protect your information until people pay. But and I understand that that's a beautiful, beautiful thing because people do take advantage of the situation and try to learn. But I'm not afraid to pay somebody to teach me how to do something because your first job,
I mean, Philip, if you could, Philip, if you could summarize what that 3-day training, the value of it is, what would you say?
I would say that it was a fantastic training, and it blew both businesses up. I mean, my personal company that I have, as I told Sean a minute ago, I built a lifestyle business for 30 years. And my son is now 26, and he's running that company. I'm just a counsel, basically. And but those 3 days, I came out of there very tired and very excited. And I have used the terms federal national contractor many times in trying to find people as resources.
Right on. So is your course still a live course, or is it you just send me a link to the live course that you did a number of years ago, and I like you said, binge watch it like Netflix?
Yeah, you can binge watch it like Netflix now. In fact, Philip was one of the last people to go through the live training. It's all online now. And it wouldn't even surprise me if one of the video clips in the training now has Philip in it. But regardless, it turns out everybody likes it more now that it's on demand because, life happens. You can pause it. You can come back to it. You can rewind if you didn't quite get some concept we were teaching. It's been overwhelmingly positive now that it's online.
Okay.
The feedback.
Beautiful. And do you give any kind of advice on taxes?
We do.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
And do you have how do I want to say, co-op or buddy group where I can talk to like the other gentleman on the phone, where we can talk and connect about what we learned from you as a community?
No, I don't do that because the worst thing that can happen is you get information that isn't from the horse's mouth, and then sometime in the future you conflate that. I'll just tell you this. Wayland, how hard was it to get a hold of me today?
Extremely easy. It actually surprised me that you called me back that fast.
Okay, and then Philip, in your experience over the years, how hard has it been to get a hold of me?
You and Doug, either one. It was. I called you today, and I hadn't talked to you in 3 years.
Yep. So I'll just tell you, Wayland. By the way, when Philip called, I was on the phone with you, and I was thinking, man, how do I get off the phone and answer Philip's call? And then your call dropped off, so I thought, well, okay, I'll just call Philip back. And then you called back.
So, and I understand your perception of it. What you're doing, like I'd be amazed if I made $1,000 an hour. Or more. I do understand that it is possible because basically we would be in sales. We're not in contract. We're not physically swinging the hammer. We're not doing the work. All right. Well, Mr. Sean, if you don't mind, if you want to send me some links of what I have to do, maybe you can send me a link to some video that I can let my other half watch with me. So it's easier if she's on board with me on what I do so I don't get static. And how what it costs and what all it entails. If you want to do that, that'd be super great.
Yeah, I'll send that as soon as I get off the phone with Philip. I'll send that over to you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I hope this gentleman does pay me like you say. That's kind of what I've been doing, but not every 48 hours. But I think he honestly didn't have the money. My contract said the payment due day upon completion, and his property manager was supposed to do a walkthrough with me. So 5 days later, she calls me, and she didn't even know that I was doing the job. I'm almost thinking the guy's committing some kind of insurance fraud because it was a flood where the plumber come in and changed the stuff, and he's not paying me. He says he's got a lawyer getting the money back, but my contract says 50% due to start the job and 50% when I'm done. So if he signed that contract willing to pay me, then that's fraud if he didn't have the money to pay me the day upon completion.
So the ironic thing of this conversation is that my company does water mitigation work, and I do.
That's what I got into now, yeah.
Yeah, so I do that, and that's what my first company does, and I learned, I've done that for 30 years. I did my first water loss in 1994.
Ooh, I was born in 76. So I would have been. I didn't get to finish school, but I would have been just finishing school if I was allowed to be in school. So, but I would have.
That will, if you'll follow that 48-hour rule, I promise you, it'll bring you the results.
Yeah, I got I definitely will do that. But yeah, if I put a lien on his house, I eventually get my money, but not until he sells it, until he dies, and it's in his hands. Right. And then I'm out of my pocket $20,000.
Liens don't do you any good. Small claims,
right?
That's a different picture. That's where you go when you get close to that 30 days. Is you tell them, I have a letter a friend of mine in Texas sent me, and it wasn't Sean, but it starts out and says, "Dear Shithead."
That's good stuff.
Anyway.
So,
okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. And serious, if you guys want to go fishing, I gladly will take you. I'm in Fort Pierce, South Florida, on the East Coast, and we hammer 'em, big fish. You're more than welcome. I even tell you where to stay, give you ideas of where it's inexpensive, and on the water. So
there you go. Cool.
All right, Wayland, it's good to meet you.
Yes, sir. Please send me some info on what I got to do, what it costs, and a video that's in your head that maybe my other half can watch to put her on board with me, even if not to help me, just to not be negative, just to be supportive.
Oh yeah, I got.
If you have something.
I know what you need. I'll send it.
Thank you. Thank to both of you.
Yeah, you bet, Wayland.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
All right, John. Have a New Year to both of you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Yes, sir.
Anyway, Philip.
All right. I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do this, and then I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay. This is my personal cell phone number. You just reach out, call me anytime.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, you bet.
Talk to you.
Bye-bye.